All right, everyone, welcome to Orlando Out of Context. This is episode 7. I'm Brian.
I'm Stephanie.
And we would like to welcome today Orlando Foodie Girl, Jessie.
Hello.
She's joining us today. Jessie has an Instagram account. You can follow her at Orlando Foodie Girl. Right?
Correct.
All right. And just before we get started...
The little picture's so cute. It's like her little Bitmoji jumping through a donut hole.
Yeah, it's just a Bitmoji, right?
It is. And what's ironic is I didn't think I was going to be eating that many donuts. And now I look at my Instagram and there's donuts everywhere. Everywhere.
It brings donuts into the universe for you.
Donuts are the trend right now.
It is.
You know, it was cupcakes for a while.
It was.
And now...
now it's donuts.
I remember when frozen yogurt was kind of had its thing.
Like Menchie's and all those froyo type of places. And
now it's donuts.
It is donuts because there's cereal donuts and
what will be the next thing?
Bacon donuts.
And we were off the podcast. We were talking about donut hamburgers.
Donut hamburgers.
So
donut bites. Donuts are everywhere.
Everywhere.
And I'm jumping through them.
Literally.
I
am. Literally. Well, before we get full force ahead, make sure to follow us on Instagram at Orlando Out of Context. Visit us at Orlando Out of Context. And then listen and subscribe on the Apple Podcast app, Google Play Music, SoundCloud, YouTube, and now I'm excited that we are on Spotify. So
just this week, so you can add that to your repertoire.
It took us a while to get there. Just the application process took longer, but we're there.
You did it.
So we did it. So welcome, Jessie. We're really excited to have you. It's been great talking to you even before we got on the mics, and we just
had a nice little talk sesh over
some desserts,
a whole table full of calories,
including donuts.
Including donuts.
Mm-hmm.
So we will ask a few questions. I think that we should start. Let's start out with your history with food. So we talked about it a little bit before, but talk about your history of food and why you started Orlando Foodie Girl.
Ooh, okay, history of food. Well, obviously, I've been eating most of my life. No. When I was younger, I took cooking courses and learned a lot about, how to handle food in the kitchen and different ingredients and how things go together. I never imagined it was going to be something I actually implicated into my future, but it gave me appreciation for foods and the different textures and, the different varieties out there. I traveled a lot. I've had cuisine from different parts of the world, from the most interesting in countries where they eat bugs to, chefs that have cooked, from French cuisines to, Italian chefs cooking, homemade pastas and things of that sort. As a cook, I have children with special needs and had to learn how to really learn the ingredients of food and food allergies and
I think that's becoming a bigger thing now. People find out they have celiac disease and gluten allergies, and that can really cause a lot of inflammation.
Yeah, when I worked at Disney's Polynesian Resort, I worked club concierge, and at the second level we had every night they could get appetizers, and so I would work that area sometimes. We had a full binder that if some a parent wanted to know or someone wanted to know what's in this, I could literally pull it out and say, here it is. So you've lived with this awareness for a while in terms of what is in our food.
I did, and it actually started giving me, I think, more of an appreciation for different types of foods, for the quinoas out there, and the cassava flours and just the things that normally people
they overlook.
Yeah, that they don't
really
have,
need to look far into the food.
Yeah, that they don't have in their kitchens. And then so that became my life there for a long time. But Orlando Foodie Girl, the story behind Orlando Foodie Girl was
jumping through donuts.
Jumping through donuts. I was a person that when I went out with people and they're sitting here taking pictures of food, I wondered, why would they do that? Like, why are they taking pictures of their food? Never imagining that would be me. But I dated a guy there for a while who was a food reviewer, and everywhere we went, he wanted me to take pictures of his food because I was a photographer. At first, it was strange. I'm like, why does he keep taking pictures? You're like,
let me just eat it.
Food?
God.
Yeah, I was, because I was an appreciator of foods, of the different flavors and textures, but I didn't think I had to document it. I didn't understand that, you could share that experience with others. I just thought it was a picture, so... I started taking pictures, and one day, this guy says, "Why don't you start an Instagram with some of these photos?" And for me, I said, "Okay, no problem. Let me put it on Instagram." And for me, it was about the photography. I wanted to make sure that when somebody saw this picture, they could see it the way I saw it through my eyes.
And I would have to say that with your photography, like it's like a vibrant. You don't like,
you can see the textures, the layers, yeah, you don't the sandwich.
Fade, you don't do a fade on the photo. It's very much like it looks like you could be there eating it. So you've kind of unlocked that, and I would say you're definitely doing that for sure.
I think for me, when I look at a picture, if I feel like I want to bite it. or if I can grab it or get close to it, or if it's right there, I think I've done my job.
Yeah.
So as I started dating this food critic, I started becoming more curious about different places I hadn't visited, because being in the Orlando area for 25 years, I had gone to a lot of places already. But for me, I've always been intrigued with the mom and pop shops.
Which I felt Orlando doesn't have that many mom and pop shops. But now that I've started this podcast and I'm looking through Instagram, I think I just need to look a little further out than my current bubble. Yeah. Because that's kind of what I miss about my hometown, Everything in my hometown is like mom and pop. But here, you have to really kind of look for it. But it's there. It
is. And so the more I started discovering these mom and pop shops, the more intrigued I became with, different foods, different unique recipes I hadn't tasted before. I think my favorite thing to do is walk into a restaurant and ask, what does the chef, I let him know I'm a food blogger, what is something he would like me to feature? And they asked me, what is something you would like? I said, no, just whatever the chef recommends. And at that point, when a meal is brought out to me, you can tell a lot about who the chef is by what he presents you with. Some chefs will bring you a beautiful dish with beautiful carved fruits or vegetables, beautiful avocados, made, just delicately with, the light, vinaigrette dressing. And for him, it's a beautiful plate to present. Another chef will bring you something that he thinks is flavorful and rich and tasty, because he wants you to experience the food, not just the beauty of it. You have some chefs who will bring you a giant plate because they want you to get full, and they want to make sure when you're out of there, you're so full that you're like, wow, that was amazing. So for me, I can see a lot of who the chef is and their passions and who they are through the foods that they present me.
Very cool. So you started Orlando Foodie Girl not long ago, right?
I did, a little over a couple months ago. And it's grown. I think it's one of the fastest growing food pages in Central Florida at this point.
For sure. Yeah, we found you right away when we started our Instagram.
And I scanned down to the end. I was like, shit. First post was on August 26th.
No, April.
April.
Yeah, April 26th.
And I was like, man, that's only a few months. She's got over 1,000 followers. And that was like 2 weeks ago. So
now it's 1,800.
Yeah.
So there's 1,800
that's
followers.
That's awesome.
So where are you from? Where were you born? Where were you raised?
Born and raised. I was a person who was moved around a lot as a youngster. I was born in New Jersey. I've lived in Pennsylvania, and my summers were
What part of Pennsylvania?
Harrisburg, Hershey.
Oh, okay. I'm from Pittsburgh, the Pittsburgh area. So
okay, see, we're neighbors. We were meant to meet. There we go. But yeah, I've lived in the northern states until I was 15. That was 25 years ago, and now I've been in the Central Florida area and Florida areas for the last 25 years. My summers were spent in the island of Puerto Rico. So I got to experience a lot of Puerto Rican cuisine and just the passion.
So is that your family's heritage?
That is, and I think that's where my passion for food grew. You know, when you come from a Latin home, food is love. Food is love. If you get invited into someone's home, they feed you. They feed you
and they get offended
like you were family. Eat. They do. They want you to be full. They want you to leave that house. They do. And so that's how I grew up. I grew up with food being, a huge part of my heritage.
So growing up, was there... I'm taking all the questions from Stephanie. I need to share them. But was there, whether it was cooked at home, or we could have two parts of the question. So favorite food cooked at home, and then was there like this restaurant or place in growing up north
like when I go home, there's always like the first place I have to go eat. Like I just have a whole list of places that I have to eat when I go home.
So I know you've been here for a while, but you're home up north, or whether it was your summers in Puerto Rico, where is that one like restaurant or location where you have to get it? And then favorite food from home, let's say that.
Ooh, favorite restaurant. See, what was my favorite restaurant 20 years ago going back to is not a place I would go back to now. Back in New Jersey, there was a little restaurant called White Castle.
Okay.
Where they
like
had
the
these
burgers?
little burgers.
White Castle.
That was more tradition. That was more heritage, So growing up, you had those little mini burgers, and as a child, you would get like 5 or 6 of them, and you thought, oh my gosh, I've had 6 burgers. But that was in New Jersey. For me, I like very rich, flavorful, home-cooked meals. So for me, my favorite place to eat is my mom's home. Mm-hmm. My mom, when she cooks, there's a passion to her food. You can taste every ingredient, the cilantros, the garlic, everything that she puts in the food. So my favorite place to eat, if I have a choice, believe it or not, is to go across the state and go visit my mom.
Okay. Where does she live?
She lives in Spring Hill.
Okay.
She does.
Spring Hill, Florida?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I think I've been there before.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I have. Very cool.
I think Nicole's grandfather lives there.
Okay.
I think.
I do. I loved home-cooked meals. In Puerto Rico, I wish I remember the name. But growing up, I remember my grandfather used to take me to a little ice cream shop. And this ice cream shop was special because it had very unique flavors. And I remember being a child and walking hand in hand with my grandfather into this little ice cream shop. And he would get me an ice cream cone with 2 flavors. Mm-hmm. It was passion fruit and coconut. Mm. And so for me, when I think of Puerto Rico, I think of my grandfather and this little ice cream shop with the passion fruit and coconut ice cream. So when I think of Puerto Rico, I think that would be, my favorite place
to go.
Food
is one of those things that ties emotions,
It does.
Well, I'm sure even when you taste those flavors together, maybe even separately, that takes you back to those times, I'm guessing, right?
It does, absolutely. The passion fruit and the coconut is my grandfather's tie, yeah.
And back to the cooking part, I really suck at cooking. Brian's really good at cooking. Mm-hmm. And it's one of those things they say, like, you need to put love and effort into your cooking. Like, I'm one of those people, like, I'll get a recipe and I'll, like, okay, 1 cup of this, 450 for 5 minutes. And I could do that, and he could cook the same thing, and it's going to taste way better. But he'll just, like, shake a little of this, a little of that. And so I, tried to ask him, like, can you teach me how to cook? Because when we lived together for a little bit, he used to cook a lot. Prep. I would eat a lot, and I'd be like, your food always tastes better than the food I make. Can you teach me how to do it? So when I move away from you, I can make the food that I like still. I can't do it.
I think it's just knowing ingredients, understanding spices.
I just don't.
You take a piece of toast, put a little bit of butter, and start putting spices on it, and taste them individually. And I think
that's a good tip. I've never heard that tip. That's a good tip.
That way, you can say, okay, this is rosemary. This is,
So
but it's like layering them and figuring out what goes together and what complements what and what food is going to be best for rosemary or basil or. I don't know any of that. And I don't know if I have the patience to even care.
Well, there's always restaurants, and that's what I do. I'll tell you the different restaurants in Central Florida.
And that's why there's
the combinations of these food
That's why there's Orlando Foodie
yeah.
Girl.
And that's why I'm here. The chefs will take care of it. That's why they go to school. Yeah. See, my job is just to go on a quest and discover, these places in Central Florida. It's like my little journey. And
so is it like a hobby for you? Where do you see this going in the future, or just for fun?
There's things in the works that I can't discuss now. There's things in the work in print, and there's things in the work in YouTube.
Nice.
So
Sweet.
Won't disclose that. I don't disclose things until they happen. But yes, this is definitely something that's moving forward.
I can
something
see you
bigger.
have a face for video.
Oh, thank you.
So for those who don't, obviously you can't see her because we're doing a podcast.
But she looks beautiful.
But she's beautiful. You would
she
think
has a warm heart.
She thinks she would be like 600 pounds because of her Orlando Foodie account with all that she eats. But she's already shared her tips, and she's going to share her tips of how she gets away with eating all that food. I could see you doing like...
You are too funny. Yeah. But yes, thank you. And they are very attractive too. They're being humble here. They're beautiful people.
You don't have to later on to us. That's fine. So I think that this is interesting because people are going to look at your page and be like, oh my gosh, how is she eating all of this
And I don't think
stuff?
you have too many photos of yourself. I was kind of looking through your page trying to see if there were any photos of you, because I just want to kind of get like an idea, when you look at somebody.
I think in your stories, you do pictures of yourself in your stories.
Every once in a while, I'll post something on the story. I didn't really want to make the page about me. I wanted to make it about the restaurants and really helping to promote the restaurants. So
yeah, I think that's good. I think it's good the way you have it laid out, and I think it's good to show your face in the stories every once in a while.
Yeah, say I'm a real person.
Discreetly.
Yeah.
So tell us what's the secret with all of these gorgeous pictures and all this food in front of you? What are you doing to not consume the calories? Which is really, I'm sure, a simple
We talked
answer.
about this before our little calorie fest in there, because I just came from the gym just like 2 hours ago.
As did I, yeah.
And she was telling me she had gone through a big weight loss journey in her life, and you have to learn how to change your relationships with food. So she was telling us about that.
Well, what I noticed is with food, you really are able to savor and appreciate the essence of the meal within the first few bites. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you've ever started eating a meal and you're like, wow, this is amazing. But after like the 30th bite, you're like, oh.
Like anything else.
It's food.
Yeah.
Well, for me, I stop when the experience ends. Mm-hmm. So after a few bites, once I've experienced the meal, then, that's enough for me. I've experienced it. I can taste it. I see the ingredients. I smell the food. I've consumed as much as my body needs, is what you would say. And then I stop.
Right.
Especially with desserts. I think you saw me out there. I took like a few little spoonfuls and I was done. But just staying healthy. I run. I go to the gym.
And you were saying you eat vegan a lot.
I do. When I'm not doing the food blog, I actually at home am cooking more vegetables, meals with fruits. I guess you would say like quinoas and lentil pastas and things of that sort. Foods that are very nutritious, foods that are high in protein and nutrients. But mainly I try to stay following the vegan or plant-based diet as much as possible.
I wanted to ask you about, I saw some photos, so I've been trolling your page just so I would have something to ask. You go to this place called Dexters a lot, and they have dollar burgers. I've never heard of Dexters, so this must be in a place, part of Orlando I've never been to.
So dollar burgers, are they the size of White Castle burgers?
No, they're about 4 times the size of White Castle burgers. Dexters is...
The bun really enticed me. A bun. Is like everything for a burger for me.
The carbs?
Yeah. I mean, like, the bun is like, I don't know, my favorite part. A bun can make or break a burger. Mm-hmm. So
I agree. No, but Dexter's is actually, and there's actually 2 locations in the area. There's one in Windermere. There's one in the Orlando area. And for me, whenever I want
just a 2, or is it a nationwide chain?
I am aware of 2. I don't believe they have others. I think we can look it up online. Let's go look it up online. How many locations for Dexter's? I'm aware of 2 because I do work in Central Florida. That's my adventure. But
I think it's...
Let's see. I know they have, there we go, one in Winter Park.
Lake
1,
Mary,
2, 3,
there's a whole
4.
bunch.
Look at that.
So 4.
So 2 others that I haven't discovered.
Windermere, Thornton Park,
Windermere.
Lake Mary, and Winter Park.
Cool.
I've been to Thornton Park. I've been to Windermere. So apparently in Lake Mary and... Where was the other location?
Thornton Park. Lake
Thornton.
Mary.
That's the one I've been to.
I already clicked over because I want to see.
So what's the atmosphere here? You know, places that have these kind of specials like dollar burgers and whatnot, those seem to be more social places. Burgers?
No, it's only on Tuesdays. It's more of like a bar and grill.
Yeah.
I love the staff there. They're very welcoming. You know, I know the manager, the people that work at the bar are very friendly, inviting. And what I like about there is that I get clean, healthy food.
Okay.
When I go and order a salad, it's very rich. It's very flavorful. But the ingredients are simple. And so I like food that's not overdone. It's not over elaborated. It's not, drowning. It's just, you're tasting the asparagus, you're tasting the roasted potatoes, and their freshness and their peak. So that's one of the reasons I go to Dexters, I guess, a few times.
We're looking at their Instagram page. And Stephanie's mom said that we shouldn't be doing this on the podcast. But we're looking at pictures, so they can't see, but we're looking at Dexter's. So are those chips? Is that what they are?
Bacon.
Oh, is that bacon?
Is that bacon? I cannot. I can't
tell.
I didn't take that picture, so I can't tell you.
Okay, it's...
sweet potatoes.
Oh, yes, the sweet potatoes. See, I didn't have those. I had sweet potato fries there before, and they didn't look like that, so I'm not sure what happened.
These look very crispy.
They do. Those look like potato chips.
Yeah.
I think
I want those.
Go get them. Do it. You could do it.
I'm definitely going to do that.
And take a picture or send it to me.
For sure.
And then also, I saw that you went to Voo Doo Donughts recently.
I did.
And my sister and my parents, they were in town last week, so me and my sister went down to Voo Doo Donut, and she was a savage and bought a box of 6 donuts for herself. I said, I'll take like a bite or two of, the ones that I want to taste, but I'm not buying one. And she comes back with like 6 donuts, and I was like, oh my god. What do you think? Is it worth the hype? Like, we waited probably like 15 minutes in an extended queue line just to get in the place, and I feel like it's one of those places that might just be like hyped up because the environment was so pretty. Like, I loved the environment.
Yes. Okay, well,
it's one of those places, like, I feel like the food is not that good, but people get hype about the box that it comes in and the decor of the restaurant and the theming.
Yes. Well, the thing about...
And I loved it all because it was like skulls and it was pink and it was like... Yeah,
the thing about going out to eat is it's not just the food, it's the experience.
Yeah.
Sorry here. So when you go to Voo Doo Donughts, the good thing about Voo Doo Donughts is for vegans out there, they do have a vegan menu. I'm not sure if they have a gluten-free menu. Somebody asked me that. I haven't been able to check up on that. But it's for the experience. You have very unique donuts, beautiful donuts, things that you will not experience in a regular donut shop.
Yeah. They have like a little voodoo doll jelly filled
I've seen
with
it
a
only on
pretzel
Instagram.
rod stick through the heart.
And I'll tell you, believe it or not, that's one of my favorite donuts.
Yeah.
It's one of those donuts, it just does not look appetizing because it's too pretty, but when you cut into it, it actually is very flavorful. The raspberry, it's almost like a raspberry compote, I think is the word. It's very rich, it's very real. It doesn't taste like a jelly. Right. I don't like jelly donuts.
Maybe they make it there.
They probably do. Yeah. But it has a good flavor, it has a good texture. It's not too sweet. So for me, the little voodoo man is actually one of my favorite donuts there.
My favorite was like not a cake donut, but it was like a fluffy donut with chocolate and then Oreos and then a peanut butter striped across the top. Oh, that was good.
Yeah.
It was. I did like the donut a lot. It impressed me more than I thought.
But
the texture of the donut itself was like pillowy and it was good. It was good.
But again, I do prefer the mom and shop donut shops.
Yeah.
But it's the experience.
I want to do like a donut episode. Yeah. I have a list of places that I want to hit up.
It's really interesting. We can kind of bring this up as a topic. There's always been those mom and pop donut shops, right?
Yes.
But now, what happens to those shops when this huge explosion and hype and this trend comes about? What do you do to stay open and relevant when you have a place like Voo Doo Donughts, who is a monster in this trend. What happens, to you. I just think about, like the Donut Kings back home, and those were the type of places that had donuts, and always had donuts before the fad came into place. So I'm wondering what they're doing, those type of places to even...
I noticed that a lot of these places make limited edition flavors.
They do.
And they'll put on their Instagram like, oh, we're sold out for today. So it kind of gets people hyped. Like, oh, I got to get there tomorrow.
DG Donuts is big for that.
Yeah. Okay.
Basically what they do is they contact someone like me. No, they'll message me and say, hey, we've got, these donuts that we'd like you to come in and try, and I'll come in and try it. And if it's something that I feel is, something worth sharing with the public, I'll go ahead and put it on the page and say, hey, Orlando public.
You jump through the donut and say, hey,
these are here. It's not a voodoo donut, but it's an amazing donut, and it's fresh.
Right.
And look, they just baked it, and I'll share a video showing them baking apple fritters and donuts and things of that sort. I just love fresh.
Have you been to the Glass Knife in Winter Park?
You know what? That's my next visit.
Girl,
I have not been there yet. Yes, I've been told. I have not been there yet.
And that for me is... we talked about it before on the podcast, but I get excited about it because the atmosphere and the experience there is gorgeous. There's nothing. It's gorgeous.
Let's
inside.
go.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go now.
And the stuff that
the quality of the food meets.
Oh my gosh,
meets expectations with the experience. Yeah. So everything is. Equal.
It's how do I say that word?
Delicacy.
It's a sure, whatever. It's the food is good. It's very good. So,
what's your favorite thing at the Glass Knife?
What did we have? So Stephanie had the glitter donut.
I had a donut with paint, literally glitter.
I've seen that.
Literally glitter. I'm not using a filter. I'm not using a filter on IG to make it look like there's glitter. There was glitter on the donut, edible glitter.
And I had one of the fancy desserts. I'm sure it's seasonal. I think everything there is pretty much seasonal, so probably what I had they don't have anymore. And
it was something yellow. It was similar.
So you ate something yellow?
Yeah. Yeah. But it was freaking good. And
it was like mousse
at the time
with a gold fork, correct? They give you the gold fork, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Listen, at the time we weren't doing this,
and
we weren't documenting everything that we're doing, so I couldn't tell you exactly what I had, but I was extremely impressed. You get this beautiful thing in front of you a lot of time, and then you're disappointed because it's so gorgeous, and then you take a bite and it's like, but not at the Glass Knife. Not at the Glass Knife.
Plug for the Glass Knife here. Plug for the Glass Knife. See, Glass Knife, if you're listening, you have to invite them out for a free meal. They just promoted you.
But no, I mean, it's something that I won't say without getting anything in return because it's good.
Yeah.
It's good. Yeah. So try it.
I will be there.
Where in Orlando are you located? As far as where's your neighborhood?
Oh, I live in Windermere.
Windermere. Okay, so you're kind of in a good central spot to get to either South Orlando,
and that puts you out of the tourist area.
I am.
I feel like we live in what's called the attractions area, so a lot of what's around us is chains. We're gonna have to. We've been doing some more traveling to get to the deeper parts of Orlando, the places where people live and real food is, not just like all this tourist crap that people eat here.
What's nice about living in the outskirts, in a place like Windermere or the Lake Nonas, or even in Winter Park, is you'll have a lot of restaurants that open up that are high quality restaurants that they really work hard to put out high quality food. I think up the road from me is a place called Parodi's, who they import their breads from New York City. Now,
really?
if you understand New York, they have the best water in the United States.
I've heard that.
It has different minerals that aren't here. So when they bake the breads with this water, it just has a different texture. It's different to the bite. You just a different experience. So they'll import their breads, they'll import their meats and their cheeses straight from New York City. So when you go to eat there, you're literally having a New York deli sandwich. And the story behind the owners was that they came from New York City and they couldn't find a deli like what they were used to experiencing and what they had grown up eating. And they wanted, the people here to experience what they had experienced. And so that's why they opened up that deli.
Oh, that sounds good.
And that's what I like about meeting a lot of the owners of these restaurants is you hear their stories, you hear why they do, what they're passionate about, and what drives them to, not just create the meal that you ate, but to create the recipes and the...
Right.
And the environment. So
that place sounds good.
It's very good.
So that's interesting logistically. I guess they just overnight the bread then.
They do.
That's cool.
And they also sell it. So for people that want to come in and experience a New York bagel, they could actually go straight to this location, and they have a little refrigerator where they sell New York bagels, and you're getting the bagels like you would if you were to walk into a deli straight in New York City.
Okay. Nice. I'm definitely gonna. Did you feature them on Orlando Foodie Girl?
I did. I think I have a sandwich and a wrap because they have vegan wraps too. I think a few of the owners are actually vegan, ironically.
Okay.
So they have some vegan recipes there.
So they throw those in there. Okay, cool. So what would you say? This might be a tough question. What is the best kept secret in terms of food? A restaurant. Let's keep it to a restaurant. Best kept secret that will no longer be a secret now, in your opinion, for food in Orlando.
Oh gosh, that's so hard. Okay, well I'll tell you my situation with that is that I haven't visited every restaurant.
Right, correct.
And I feel bad.
That's the disclaimer. So
I feel very bad, but
okay.
But we can't. I mean, that's.
I know. Okay, but if I will tell you one of, let's not say the best, but they are pretty amazing. I think one of my favorite restaurants of Southwest Orlando is the Vineyard.
Okay, I haven't heard of them.
The Vineyard is on Apopka Vineland Road and Conroy Road.
Okay.
And they have a very fresh bistro style of restaurant. So all the meals that you're getting, if you get fish, it's very fresh fish. If you get avocado toast, it's the freshest avocado that you could experience. It's a small little kitchen with one chef, but everything he puts out is just very flavorful, it's just amazing. It's not overdone, it's not underdone, it's not overdone, it's just right. And I don't know how he does it, but he creates magic in these meals. So yeah, I would say the Vineyard is one of my favorites. But again,
Okay, so along the same lines of the question, and this question is just popping in my head of, the best kept secret in Orlando, which your answer kind of was the Vineyard. And we know you haven't tried everything. But what is is there a place that you go to every week?
Yes.
Even if it's a chain, and even if it's like a chain, is there a place that you go to every week?
We used to hit the ale house really, really hard when we were younger.
Yeah.
But not anymore.
Well, I go to Sweet Tomatoes just because I like very healthy foods and their salads, and I have children, and I want my children to grow up eating healthy food. So at least once a week, we'll go to Sweet Tomatoes. Affordable. It is. It's not. It's not bad.
Make sure you always use a coupon.
Yeah.
There's coupons. But the thing about Sweet Tomatoes is the one here in front of downtown. I guess it's not downtown Disney anymore. The one in front of Disney Springs. Is the number one sweet tomatoes in the United States.
Really? I didn't know that.
They are. They are, by quality of food, by the experience overall, the number one sweet tomatoes, also known as, soup plantation is another name for it.
They go by
but they are the number one
cool.
Buffet for vegetables and salads and soups and whatnot in the United States.
There.
It is hidden back there.
If I didn't live here, I probably would overlook it. It's way in the back, and the signage is little.
It's really close to where we are right now, and I always forget that it's even there. But I used to go to Sweet Tomatoes more, but we
got hype when it first opened.
I didn't know that they were top.
Yeah, they're the number one
Sweet Tomatoes
in the United States.
My answer would be have a sushi place called Sushiology, which is just right across the street. No frills.
Nice.
I I do take out
it's
probably
in the plaza
at least,
across from the Vineland outlets.
Yeah, the Vineland Premium Outlets. They have a location on International Drive, and then they have the location here over by the Vineland outlets. But no frills, easy to take out, or you can eat in, but you're not going to get any kind of ceramic plates. It's all just kind of plastic or disposable. It keeps the price down to reasonable, but I feel like it's great quality, and it's consistent, and it's my sushi fix at least once a week generally. Do you like sushi?
I do. I don't like all types of sushis. I'm working on that. I'll try it. Again, I will try anything. I'll try anything once, maybe twice. I do like spicy tuna sushi. That's my, you put a little bit of crunchy wasabi on top of it or something like that. I'll try that. I'll try the California roll. I do have that. Yeah. But, I love sushi. I think I have it once a week. I'm just, at this point, limited on what I have often regarding sushi.
Right.
But have you been to the Cowfish?
You know what? I have not. That is it. Is that at Universal?
It's in Universal City Walk, and they create a sushi for people that don't like fish or raw fish. It's made with hamburger. So they take hamburger meat and they wrap it in a type of like potato hash brown. And they put a spicy mayo sauce on it and cover it with little tiny pieces of onions, tomatoes, and jalapenos. And it's an amazing, they call it sushi. I don't know if it's necessarily sushi, but it's like a burger sushi, and it's very unique. Okay. So I had that a few months ago, and definitely would recommend it.
You might like that, Stephanie, minus the stuff on top.
But you really don't experience the top parts, and you could always wipe it off.
Yeah.
It's not overwhelming is what I mean to say. It's not overwhelming in flavor.
I've seen that walking past it. I've been to, we're not at Universal that much, but I have been to the Toothsome's chocolate place. They have the big, like, fancy milkshakes and stuff like that. Have you been there before?
I have, they're on my page.
I think I did see it on the page. Yeah.
But the thing about Cowfish is a lot of people think it's a big chain. They're like, oh, it's a big chain sushi. I don't want to eat there. They only have 5 locations in the entire United States. And the owner is out of North Carolina. Okay. So it's very tightly managed and it's very, very, very fresh. You wait a little longer for the sushi, but they're making it as you order by hand. So you're getting the freshest sushi when you order it from there.
So we tried, before we got on the podcast today, we had a bunch of desserts. I was going to have a mix of stuff because I was like, what are we going to do to kind of break the ice with Jessie when she comes? And so I figured, it was Stephanie's idea really, and I had kind of thought about it too, but she spoke it into existence first. It's like, why don't we grab some stuff and just have it hanging, stuff hanging out here to nibble on before we jump on. So we had some Wonderland Cookie Dough, and they're in celebration. I don't know if they're a chain or not. I don't know that far into it, but that's kind of been a little bit, I've noticed, a fad as well. I think New York City has had some cookie dough places pop up, so we have a cookie dough place here.
And it was like a flight, and it was like the size of like a to-go ketchup cup, like a condiment cup.
That's all you need, in my opinion.
A little shot glass.
I agree. Yeah, it's very sweet.
Because I couldn't even eat half of one of those little containers. But my favorite of the ones we tried the crony dough, which is chocolate chip and brownie butter, churro, and then we tried the strawberry cheesecake. My favorite was the churro. Or how do you say churro?
Churro.
Oh, excuse me.
That's the Puerto Rican influence.
It's churro.
Churro.
You got to do HR. That's how you get that R sound. It's HR. It's churro. Yeah.
I can't roll my R's, so I'm horrible at my R's. But what would you say your favorite one was?
Of the 3 flavors, ironically, my favorite was the one that wasn't yours.
Really? You like the strawberry?
I liked the strawberry cheesecake.
See, I thought the strawberry was just a little bit wet.
It was a little bit, yes. It's not cookie dough.
Yeah, it's like frosting.
It's like frosting. But to me, it's all frosting at that point. But yeah, the other ones were all good in their own, in their own essence. It just depends what you want. Do you want something heavier? Do you want something more chocolatey? Do you want something lighter? And for me, I enjoy lighter desserts. So that's why I think I enjoyed the strawberry cheesecake the best out of the 3.
And then the next one, which I think this was Jessie's favorite, was the Amorette's Mickey Mousse.
Yes, I did. I actually didn't expect to like that, but I really
chocolate
like
chiffon cake with white chocolate mousse and chocolate pudding.
It was
so
light.
The base, it was like
an
half
airy
globe. The base of it was the cake, and then the middle had the mousse, and then the top was kind of puddingy, I guess.
Well, the top was like a red some
like
kind of glaze
jelly.
or I don't know what they call that.
Food coloring.
Yeah.
And this place is in Disney Springs.
Yes, this is a Disney owned patisserie. Is that the right way to say patisserie?
Patisserie.
Okay. I never even heard that word, patisserie.
It's a fancy way to say
bakery.
French bakery.
French bakery.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But that's Disney owned, I believe. And it's right next to World of Disney at Disney Springs.
Yeah, it kind of has the same feeling of like going to Satuli Canteen. Have you been to Satuli Canteen?
I have not. Where's
Satuli
that?
Canteen is in Animal Kingdom. And they make these desserts.
Right.
It's where the Avatar rides are.
Is it their quick service?
No, it's a restaurant, Satuli Canteen. So in Animal Kingdom,
that's where we ate.
Yeah, they have a very unique restaurant where
How do
they
you spell
have
We ate there. I think you got that dessert. It was kind of like
it was
that.
blue desserts and
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you ate that when we went.
Yeah, it has a similar feeling to that type of dessert.
Yeah, we've been there.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that was.
I didn't know that was
I
a
like
fancy
these.
name.
Did you?
That's
did you
what
like
it is
these?
right there.
Yeah.
So we're totally off topic now of desserts and what we just tried. But okay, it's
Satuli Canteen
Didn't
has
realize-
rice bowls.
But they have the rice bowls. But you could also make them like salad bowls too if you wanted to.
Yeah.
You could switch out the rice, but they have. I think the great flavors there for a theme park restaurant. It gives you something different than like the hamburgers.
Because when this was opening and we went for the opening weekend, that's when we were starting our diets and stuff like that. So we were like, oh, we can eat like good because they have chicken and beef and what they had quinoa too, I believe. Instead of rice, you could get or mixed grains. I think it was called. I don't know.
And the tofu. Have you had the tofu there?
No.
Stephanie's not a tofu. But
She's like, oh no.
I'll try the tofu.
No, the tofu is actually really good there.
Okay.
It's got good texture, good flavor. So,
But yeah, that dessert looks very similar. It's a little half globe of moussey.
that's what I thought of when I
moussey
experienced
stuff.
the Disney. What is it called again? The Disney.
Amorettes.
The Amorettes.
Amorettes.
Yeah.
And then Jessie just had this. She stepped away for a second and then came back.
I'm
She
so
had to
shaken.
cleanse her palate
She's
from all the
shaking.
other
She is shook.
stuff.
So we had sprinkles. I guess it's flavor of the month. Is it a monthly flavor they have? I don't know. It was Saracha and Lime Cupcake.
Yeah.
I thought it tasted, the frosting was the Sriracha part, and I thought the Sriracha frosting tasted a little bit almost like the spicy mayo you get on sushi. A little bit.
It was definitely different.
Thick layer of it.
If you were to ask me, is that my favorite? No. If you were to ask me how long it took me to kind of get that flavor out, it took me, a few seconds. I had some of the little Disney.
She had a chaser. She had a
But
chaser.
it's definitely different.
It's
For
different.
somebody who wants to try something different and unique and just say they tried it, you definitely have to try that because it's definitely different.
I definitely like lime, though. I like lime.
I do. I love
in my
lime.
cupcake.
I love both ingredients. I just don't think I would have combined them together.
Right. I think it's also the texture of like the frosting, and it's like rich and almost, I don't know.
It's very thick.
It's thick. All right, so then we have,
Because they don't pipe their frosting on. They have like a way that they do it with a spatula.
Because you realize there's 4 flavors going on in that cupcake. It's spicy, it's sour, it's sweet, and it's salty all at the same time.
Yeah.
So you're
That's a lot.
That's a lot going on for that cupcake. Yeah.
Definitely. And then we have we tried 2 things from Erin, McKenna's bakery, which I didn't really realize this. They have a New York location.
Okay.
They have a Southern California location, and they have a Orlando Disney Springs location. And shout out to Margie, the general manager. We kind of had a conversation. She kind of told me a little bit about them. They are vegan, gluten-free, dairy-free, soy-free, and
All the frees.
kosher.
Exactly.
So you should be able to eat there.
I should, even on days when I'm.
So they have every. You know what? So if this place is like that, they should have a fatty section. So you know when you go to a regular restaurant, they have maybe 2 or 3 items that are vegan friendly. They need to have the fatty friendly items.
You can't contaminate though. You can't contaminate the.
But if you're going to a regular restaurant and they have vegan options, why can't I have the fatty option at a vegan restaurant?
Thought provoking.
That's true. They need to put
just a little food for thought, Margie.
So I'm sure Margie does not have control of that. Cookies and cream donut. Mm-hmm. I liked it.
I did. Yeah. For a vegan donut, it's actually very, very flavorful, very sweet.
It was moist.
So if for somebody who wants a sweet dessert and they're vegan and they want to,
absolutely, like they're gonna feel satisfied.
They're like, wow, that's enough for the week. Yeah, very rich. It's a good one. Just it's rich.
Margie told me that the iced lemon tea cake is their number 1 in all locations.
Yeah, it's
supposedly.
good.
I thought
it tasted like lemonade, like the country time powder that you would make. You put a scoop of the powder, mix it with water.
But I liked it. I thought it was tart and
it was tart for sure.
Very moist.
It
was very moist, and it's hard to find a moist cake. I mean, no, I guess it's not hard. But in vegan cakes, because you're not using a lot of the ingredients to get that really moist cake, it's quite the effort. So she did good.
Yeah. And then Jessie brought us. I'll let Jessie describe what she brought us.
Gideon.
I think that might have been my favorite.
Mine too.
Yeah, I brought 2 cookies from Gideon's bake shop. I brought the flavor of the month cookie, which is the Rocky Road. It has triple chocolate.
That was my favorite.
Your favorite? It has pistachios, caramel, sea salt, and they take marshmallows and then they take a little blowtorch, and they fire the top of the marshmallows.
Which is weird because the chocolate wasn't really melted.
No, they
the marshmallows
they put those marshmallows
browned
on top and then they do it right there. Really quick process.
But I liked it because it's like you're tasting, you're biting, and then all of a sudden you hit a little piece of sea salt and you're like, oh, that tastes different. Like sea salt and chocolate together is a nice combo. I love sweet and salty.
Yeah,
it's my favorite.
And then what was the second one?
The pistachio toffee dark chocolate.
That was good. That was good as well. I liked both of them. It's a cookie that is not your mom's cookie. That's for sure.
So the pistachio toffee dark chocolate cookie is actually their most popular cookie. So when you're asked to try a cookie there, and when you're giving when somebody's giving you a recommendation, I'm sorry, I'm like stuttering over my words. When somebody is giving a recommendation on what cookie to have from Gideon's, they always recommend to try the pistachio toffee dark chocolate cookie. That's a lot of words. First.
Yeah, it's a lot of words.
It's
That's
very
the gateway
unique.
drug
It's very rich. It's not overly sweet or underly sweet.
Look.
It's got the textures. What?
On the website they show them blow torching the marshmallows. Makes you feel like you're a little campfire.
Do they have cakes and stuff too?
They do. They have these very large, beautiful, delicious cakes. I was going to get one, but I was running late because I had a podcast to attend.
Well, there's a shot of one of the cakes. It looks huge.
They are huge. They're beautiful.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was the one. They were going to...
Red velvet.
Yeah, they were going to be sharing that cake, but I had a schedule, so I didn't experience that cake this time, but maybe next time.
Definitely. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Jessie. We look forward to what you're going to do with Orlando Foodie Girl.
Maybe you can come back again.
There's secrets. It's growing.
You'll probably be back, right?
Oh, absolutely. I'll definitely be back.
So we got to hang out too. Like go foodieing with you
at
somewhere.
The Glass Knife.
Oh my gosh, the Glass Knife. So good.
Or brunching at Earl's.
Do you like Earl's?
Believe it or not, I have not been to
Oh God.
And, I apologize because
We're
I know
looking
they
for
do
an Earl's
follow me
sponsorship.
on
We love
Orlando
Earl's.
Foodie Girl. So I'm sorry, Earl's. I will be there next.
Their drink specials are you don't drink alcohol, but their drink specials are awesome.
Okay.
So
But even the food prices for brunch happy hour, so good.
Yeah. Definitely hit up, and it's beautiful.
Is it? Yeah. I love you, Earls. I'll be there soon.
We love love you too, Earls. You can sponsor us if you want.
Yeah, you can give us some brunch and endless mimosas.
Yeah.
But thank you so much, Jessie, for coming on. And like I said, we're looking forward to seeing what you're gonna do with Orlando Foodie Girl. It sounds exciting. And
it was really nice meeting you. Your
great
personality so vibrant.
It was my pleasure. You guys are amazing.
So,
this was a great experience. I loved spending time with you too.
And we will see you next time that you're on, or hopefully before.
And don't forget to follow her on Instagram, Orlando Foodie Girl.
Definitely follow her on Instagram.
And follow us too.
Follow us at Orlando Out of Context. Visit us at orlandooutofcontext.com. And then listen on the Apple Podcast app, Google Play Music, SoundCloud, YouTube, and Spotify. And we will see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. You're like, we'll have to edit. I mean, not we. You guys will have to edit some of that up. I was like, oh, wait.